I think this is the sign indicating the museum, although it uses a different name. Two alternatives. One, I could take a 9 o'clock bus and then walk 2 kilometers, or I could take the 9:30 bus and it would drive me right here. I elected to take the 9 because I didn't want to sit around for an hour at the bus station. I figured the walk would be interesting. Got into a place I wasn't quite sure which direction to go. I stopped a vehicle and asked, and he graciously volunteered to drive me out here. So saved me a kilometer, maybe a kilometer or more. And so here we are, earlier than it opens, and it's exactly what I like to achieve. Inside the complex now, Rumšiškės, at 9:55, it opens at 10. They let you in. This is a map of the complex. You can see where it says 1, I assume, is the entrance gate. We've got a long walk to do, about 5 kilometers apparently. High school kids ahead of me, so it won't be hard to figure out where to start going to. We cross on this lovely wooden bridge, this swampy lowland. Probably has a very rich biosphere. It's pretty muddy looking, and it looks still. There's nothing moving on the surface, very slowly towards me from that direction. Bit of a herd of fish right down there. So, guess the water's good enough for them. We are at the red dot, and we'll actually, I think, yeah, we'll go along to the left here. Guess you can get here by boat. And work our way over there. Unless I may work straight. No, I'll do that. I'll go to the left towards that dock. And I think I'll just kind of keep going up out there, come back to the main town, then arch out this way to this area here, to a farm, and back in through here. It's a huge area, so we'll just have to wing it. At the very least, it's a lovely walk in the woods. It's the second swing I've seen. A hell of a lot of duck noise down there, but I can't see them. Nor can I see any movement. You sure hear them. Like a water recreational place, but I don't think it's supposed to be old. Although it may be original homestead there. They're just little chapel type creche or whatever. The whole complex is right next to this huge lake system. You can see it on the map. A little bit squirrely following the map. Can't tell for sure which is really the dirt path versus the paved, but we're back on the paved now. This hill is taking us up some elevation, which isn't saying much since Lithuania's highest point is less than 300 meters. Which translates to approximately 100 feet. We're here, which is in the middle left of the screen. It really represents all of this complex. So we'll wander in and about. Some typical homes of the past. They don't seem to have interpretive signs here, however. Not sure what that's for. Maybe it opens up to hold timber for logging, or I don't know. Apparently this was once painted with a green color. I assume some of these places are open, but not the ones I'm looking at right now. For gathering hay, and there a plow of some sort. Interesting plow though, isn't it? Oh, it looks like it's more for grabbing something. Handles are up above there. I wonder if this was typical fencing. It's very pragmatic, pretty strong too. So we'll just look at some of these structures or homes. Some may have been barns. I think all these are homes though. Whether this would have been one complex or not, I don't know. Hopefully there's some interpretive information. Roosting place for some kind of insect flock. An oven made of clay. Some large mixing or processing bowl. Imagine the original homes were also put up in rocks like that. We saw that with the church yesterday. Notice how there's some embellishment. Frankly, this is really all anyone needs. They don't need that much, in fact. In the center where you would have kept animals, those are feed bins, I'm pretty sure. Upstairs, storage of grain and et cetera, et cetera. Set of bedrooms over here. You wonder if the heat from the animals somehow keeps these outer rooms warmer. Oh, the bottom was chewed in by mice or was made for the cat. This is certainly a very large structure and we can go inside, so. Would that have been at a home or in the town square? The people that sat out here on this porch, imagine the conversations that they had about their lives, about the weather calamities that occurred to neighbors. This is interesting, this room in the center of the building of the structure. Probably the kitchen, I'm thinking, yes. Not only an oven with a flue there, but a source of air there. Window. Device for holding the pot at the height you wanted it over the flame. Storage area for various things, but then access to a room over there. Old washboard tub. This certainly must have been a fancy accoutrement. Or some kind of grinding or separating device. A machine of wood. Would that have been a cistern? Into another complex, if you will, but this is an interesting building, a large building, U-shaped. Wow. Certainly would have been an excellent large farm building, wouldn't it? With the center part here for a corral. Looks like the ye old tack room. And maybe a caretaker slept there. It's an interesting little building, but what its purpose was, who knows? Look at the two little windows and the tiny window at the very top. Interesting. I wonder what that was for. Look at the fancy detail around that. Eaves outside of that large U-shaped building we looked at a moment ago. Now, to a Lithuanian, this might signal a certain area of the country. Just imagine us driving into this in a wagon, except we wouldn't have black plastic on the roof. Overhang is interesting, probably protecting and increasing the longevity of the walls. They put a little garden here to, again, to help to add to the ambience of the place. Someday, after the tremendous volume of money it took and time to build out this place and move everything here, they'll manage to embellish it more. Probably an oven, big oven there. There, notice another fireplace or a heating area would have been in that corner. The barn, those double triangles offering ventilation from each of the stalls. And probably in the day there were ramps of dirt up to that level so the animals could get in and out easily. The old outhouse is interesting. Did it represent a cross where someone was buried and the tree ultimately grew up and picked the cross up, the bottom part having rotted away at an earlier time? See what a huge area this must encompass, and we've just covered this little part of this one nodule over here on the west side.